Hey, Jennifer.
Hi, Tree.
I really wanted to connect to you today specifically about pregnancy and dreaming because I know a lot of women that I've talked to who've been pregnant say that their dreams completely shift and change when they're pregnant for their duration, and that it's some of the dreams are more intense. Lucid dreaming can occur, and some women I've talked to had amazing experiences of connection to the baby even before the baby was born. So I wanted to just delve into this topic because, there's a lot of women out there who scratch their heads over this, and think, why am I having such intense and crazy dreams around pregnancy time? And some of them feel very profound, like
hmm
experiences that really change, that are transformative in some kind of way to them personally. So I know you've got two amazing little boys, and I know I've been friends with you through second boy's the pregnancy with him, but I wanted to just like kind of see what it was like for both Wolfie and Iggy, and some of your more exceptional experiences when you were pregnant.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me in your channel. This topic is very bizarre because I'm a very existential person. So having a baby was a very existential decision for me. I knew it wasn't just about like becoming a mom. It was like literally, giving birth to another being, and God knows what that was like, to make life within myself and what forces were at play. On top of the other psychological stuff, it was a lot for me to decide to do it. But thanks to dreams, I did it. So before I even had kids, I wasn't going to have kids. And it was thanks to the dream that I had kids. So the beginning of the journey, you could say, started before I even made the decision. I had a lucid dream that felt like, one of those like more than a lucid dream dreams, like a special dream journey guidance dream, something like that, like a spirit guided situation where I was at the mouth of a cave, and there was an old robed like wizard or something, like monk wizard. And he said that I should walk through the cave with my question. And at the end of the cave, I would receive my answer. So I was already, what, 30, I don't know, 7 or something like that, 36. And I knew that my time was nearing to that form the decision because I was married, and I knew my husband was okay with it if I didn't have kids. But I also knew that, he might want to have kids. So I always had that question like, will I, will I make that decision at the end or not? So I walked through the cave asking that question. Am I going to have children? Like, am I a mom? Like, and I held that question or that intention in my mind as I walked through the cave. And when I got out the other side, there was a boy that was around 15, looking out into the ocean, looked like Dimitri, like the energy mostly like, dreamer, um, excited about life, crazy eyes, like optimist kind of personality. And I saw another little boy, like little tiny toddler, at the entrance of the cave. And then far away, I saw a girl, older than the boy near the ocean, but she looked obscured. Like I couldn't really see her. She was covered. She looked like I couldn't understand why she was so far away, and why was she not in the picture, so to speak. And when I woke up, I felt like I left my children in the dream. So for the first time, I felt like I was a mom. And I did lose one pregnancy. So that was the first one I lost, which would have been the oldest, which I'm assuming was the girl. And then I went on to have two boys. So the dream predicted that in a way, in a strange way.
Yeah, so it's almost as though you were you were prepared for this journey into motherhood, and would you say that the dream itself helped you to move into that decision making, helped you
Oh
feel
yeah.
like your soul was connected to the experience and you're like, right, let's meet these two.
Yep. It was like I'm a mom. There was no question about it after the dream. Like I felt like I felt, first of all, I felt like the girl needed me because I couldn't connect with her. It was so strong that when I lost my first pregnancy, I tried again after 3 months.
Oh,
So it was like, and I didn't lose, just so people don't get weirded out. It wasn't a full grown baby. It must have been, when I lost the first pregnancy, it must have been like microscopic. It was like into 4 weeks, 6 weeks or something like that. So it obliterated itself. It wasn't even like a regular miscarriage or anything like that. Although they did have to operate, you know, but
yeah.
still it wasn't a, not even a, not even a piece of little rice. Um, so it wasn't that painful, but I still tried again because I knew that I was a mom. It was just like, it's gonna happen. And then this funny thing is that Dimitri, a year before we started trying to get pregnant, he had a dream that I have recorded that we didn't even,
Ah.
yeah, and we weren't even trying at that point, not even in the works. But he had a dream that a Native American man offered him to choose different kinds of pizzas with animal heads on them. And there was a wolf on a pizza pie, and the pizzas were all pesto and regular. And Dimitri was like, "Why are there so many pies? I don't know." Scroll over to the future, and our oldest is a picky eater, will only eat pesto or regular pies.
And his
And
name's Wolf.
we've never seen so many pies in our lives, being parents of Wolfie, because he barely eats. Like he'll eat, but pizza is one of the things.
And this is interesting because this is one of the hallmarks of the phenomenon of premonitory pregnancy
Yeah.
dreams, and also pregnancy dreams in general, is that the baby daddy, the father, the expectant father, can have these experiences too. So it's also within that framework as well. So it's not just the person carrying the baby, but the fathers can also experience these things. And so getting back to the name Wolf and the wolf head, so how did that come about, of the naming
Well,
of?
we forgot about that
Okay.
dream. Like that dream was a dream, random dream. We tried to do dream work for my channel on it, but it was funny. I have it recorded and I have it like documented everything Dimitri was saying. I even told him, like, if you were to choose the pie, like finally, which one would you have chosen? He said the wolf. Because we were doing the dream work on it,
Ah,
but we
amazing.
and in the oven, I mean, come on.
Of course, you got a
It's
pizza
like,
pie in the oven.
and there was a little boy that led him into that
Oh,
whole,
wow.
yeah, he went from a small house to a big house. So my theory is that even because we're not paying attention, we don't realize that life was already preparing us for children before even deciding. So if people would be more in tune with their dreams, I think they would catch those cues, but a lot of people don't. So they don't. In my reality, we plan with the dream. Like my dream and my waking reality have to constantly be in dialogue as I make decisions. So I realized for him it was too, even though he's not like a dreamer like me, he still dreamed a lot.
That's great. And then when you did become pregnant with Wolfie, how were your experiences with that? Because I remember you telling me a few years ago some interesting
Oh my
experiences with
gosh.
with your dreaming when you were carrying Wolfie.
Well, I want to say that being pregnant with both of my kids was very astral. So it was one of those astral dream kind of situations where I couldn't fully say it was dream, but they were definitely, most of them, astral. So I found out shortly after getting pregnant with Wolfie that he came for Dimitri. So it's funny that that's why he had the dream in the beginning. And that's why when I went through the cave, it was like I saw Dimitri there. Um, so Wolfie, uh, I'm not that kind of person that views a baby as a baby. It wasn't like that because it was my first. I immediately knew it was a full grown being that was going to be a baby. So it was, that's how he started showing up. So it wasn't like a little boy shows up. No, it was like a grown ass soul taking me out of my body, you know. So I always had this feeling with Wolfie that I was giving birth to like an adult. Like I felt like I was gonna give birth to some, I don't know. It wasn't the concept of cute little baby. And
Yeah.
that was his energy. His energy has always been, I'm not a cute little baby. He wasn't like mommy kind of personality. He still, we still call him a teenager now because he acts like one. He doesn't act like a kid that's 7 years old. But he took me out of my body, and this was an astral projection. And wait, which one came first? No. So the first came the dream. So yes, like a dream journey, astral dream, where he explained to me how he found Dimitri. So it was a tree, like a tree. Imagine like a tree of life diagram, old black and white kind of situation. And he showed me how the way to find, he had to find him was by Dimitri's name of origin. That's what he said. So through the name of origin, you can trace a person's lives. And Dimitri's name of origin, he explained, started with a W. It was one of those like I don't, to this day, I don't remember the name, but it was like Walalahil, something like, I don't know, one of those like Hebrew sounding names that ends in L, well, a hell or well, I don't know, not hell, but
I know what you mean,
so
like Ishmael or
yeah, something
Raphael.
like that. But it was really long and it started with a W. And he traced him through many, many lifetimes until he reached Dimitri. So I always, with Wolfie, felt like I was just a vessel to bring Dimitri what this guy who was probably connected with him in a past life or something.
That's really
Um,
interesting.
yeah, so it wasn't like I felt like, oh, my little baby. I felt like, oh, I'm kind of uniting these two souls and I'm the vessel. I'm just being used. Which is so Wolfie. I just feel used with him all the time. Like his personality is just,
born an instant teenager.
yeah, you're here to serve me, mom. Yeah. There's something that happens at 5 months pregnancy for both. So it was almost like that's the time when the soul really lands, or at least that's what it felt like. So because it happened for both and it happened at the same time, I noticed that that was when I had this astral projection where Wolfie took me out of my body, grown ass soul. And he took me to a place, and in the experience I was pregnant, so I had a belly. So with both at 5 months I had similar experiences, and I almost felt like that was the time when I brought them in, or at least they landed better, more. Maybe babies before that are floating around in astral ethers, I don't know. So he took me out of my body, and we flew toward like an under, like, imagine what inner earth would be like, but astral. So there was like intelligent storms. I could see um uh like electricity, but it was like alive. And there was a huge temple, and there were giant monks. And by giant I mean giant. And there was om chanting, because they were carrying the temple on their shoulders. So that's how big these monks were. They were so big they could carry a temple on their shoulders. And there was someone inside. And I kept thinking it was like a boy or a little monk or something. It was that feeling. And the om was very, like, you could feel it. And I got kind of scared because one of the monks looked at me. And I thought, I'm seeing, like, in an astral projection when you're seen.
Oh yeah, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
oh no, don't look at me.
So he came up to me and he whacked my belly. Like, he put his hand there, but it felt like one of those lightning rods. And I got so scared because it shot through my whole body that I woke myself up. Like I actually, tr- w- in, intuitively snapped back into my bed because I felt like he might have hurt Wolfie. But I realized no, he didn't hurt him. It was probably him putting Wolfie, or it was like
Oh,
or
wow.
grounding him in, like this guy needs to s- forget that he is this astral being, and go into his earthly experience. It felt like, and
Amazing.
and he gave me a piece of paper that said something about Wolfie. I just don't remember what it said, but that was one of the last weird experiences that I had with Wolfie before, you know. And I didn't have Iggy until 4 years later, even though we tried. So, um, yeah, that was his experience.
That's amazing. I think that's interesting with the 5 month mark too, and just that hypothesis of it being that maybe the child's consciousness is, yeah, like in this in between state, and that the at the
Well, the
5 month
body's forming, right? The body's
mark.
forming, and then at 5 months, I feel like they're almost okay. They could come out, but it would be premature.
Yeah, right.
But I
Yeah.
think at that point, they're able to like that's when they start like having little personalities even in your belly.
Yeah, and maybe
Speaking.
absorbing your emotional state and absorbing everything, hearing their environments, because some parents play music out, music so that the baby can hear it through the womb and whatnot. But that's
Yep.
fascinating with the dream that it just kind of like entered, hand on the belly, the little person from the temple entering in.
Yeah,
Fascinating.
it was one of those experiences that I don't think I'll ever forget. Like the feeling of being there, everything was so real, and it felt like initiatory. I felt like I had to be there.
Yeah, and even like what you were describing at the before you decided to have children, just the dream that you said that you had where you were at the mouth of the cave,
Hmm.
and then you were beckoned to come and go into the cave by that holy person. That
Yeah. Oh,
seems
right. That
initiatory.
was like
That's so
another monk.
yeah, that seems so initiatory, because ancient initiates and initiatory practices often took place in caves all around the world. There's lots of different evidence about that. And also the caves as being almost like a liminal place of liminal threshold. And there's lots of myths and theories about that too. So it's
Hmm.
fascinating how these sort of rites of passage seem to be also part of the themes of your dreaming experiences too. Or astral experiences, because it sounds more like it's astral and lucid for you than it is just a dream that you're not conscious and aware in. And so how did it change for your, how was it developed through your second pregnancy with Iggy?
Well, with Iggy, it was always a different experience as the beginning. The energy was more feminine. Um, Not to the point where I thought it was going to be a girl. I had a feeling it was going to be a boy, but the energy was softer. I felt like his being had been women, maybe an older woman. It was like I had this like I don't know even know how to explain the feeling that I had with Iggy. He was very much in the belly, not bothering me the whole time until around 5 months. So whereas with Wolfie, I had a bunch of dreams and it was always strange. With Iggy, it was very like he was just a baby in my belly. There was no weirdness. And right around 5 months, I had and I think it was like some special date in the calendar. I keep forgetting. But so he was it was an exam. Like I was in a dream experience. It was like a dream journey. I guess what people would call like shamanic dream or dream journey once again. And I was taking one of my exams with my guides. And part of the exam, which is very strange, is to go to outer space and get the baby. So I am in a vehicle like some kind of a space ship, and at the wheel is this like large being, kind of like a big insect looking being, but not an insect. It looked human, but it looked like the shape of one, like huge. And she was driving the vehicle, and or whatever. And we were having that was the final part of the test. There was other steps to the test. The final one was that. And I got the being, and it was heavily guarded. So it was a very difficult task. There was uh like you had to go through securities, and it was just very, very different levels of security to go into that star system. It was just, the whole thing was very difficult. And there was a lot of forces helping us, but there was a lot of forces against us, and we were like being chased all the way down. So when I got back, it felt like a celebration. Like everybody's just cheering because I did it. It was like one of the most. It felt like a mission impossible to get Iggy, and I got him, and everybody was cheering. And they said that I not only passed, but I passed high, because there was other people there. So I was with other souls that were having. So they said I passed top mark or whatever. And I was like, what? Like you know me, whenever I win anything, I'm like, me? What? So that was me. What did I do? I didn't do it. I just got the kid, the being, because it wasn't even a kid. And after that, I felt like he was in my, like, it was like, boom, like I got him. It was just that feeling the whole time after that. And I knew he was going to be okay. But yeah, it was strange because I was surprised that it was outside of this space. But then I remembered a dream I had way before, way before, where I was in Peru. It wasn't a dream. It was, I could actually say in a crazy way that this was waking reality. I was in my bed and something like pulled me out of my body, but it also felt like I was with my body. So I felt like I was being levitated out of my bed and into the window. And in the window appeared a craft. Like in my parents' balcony window, there was a craft. It was kind of squarish. And inside, whoever was in there made it transparent. So suddenly you could see through the craft. And there was a light being. He was like a space light being. And he had like, you could see the light coming out of his face. And then we both put, like, it was one of those movies where I put my hand on we heard that there was other vehicles coming, like he was about to be attacked, like by interdimensional other ships and military, and there was like helicopters. So he quickly put his hand on the craft window, and I put my hands on the balcony windows, and I felt so much love, like the only kind of love you would feel for a son or a brother or family member, like that. And he left, and I remember thinking, and he had these black eyes, like not big, but they were like black. And I remember thinking, why do I love this alien? Like, that's just bizarre. So fast forward to a few years later, I had that experience of bringing Iggy in like an alien. And he was playing one day on the floor, and he looked up at me. He stopped, like when he's a really little baby, like barely sitting, like falling over stage. And he looked at me, and his eyes turned like that, like dark, like shadowy. And he just looked at me, and he started beaming light. And I just thought that would make sense if that was that alien that was like, you are gonna be my mommy. Hi, mom.
And then you went and got him.
And he was heavily guarded, like, so he
Yeah,
just to even show himself at my window was a task, because he was immediately like, he had to leave.
And then was it that 5-month mark where you had that lucid experience where you went and got the little alien, brought it back and won
Yeah.
so that was like almost like that grounding of the
Yep. So
soul.
then years later, I had that experience with Iggy, and that's when I made the connection that I think he's that little alien that I
That's
loved,
interesting.
you know, like what the hell? Why would I love an alien? Like
And
usually I'm afraid of aliens in my dreams, or even though I love alien stuff, I you know, it's hard for me to love an
yeah.
alien.
Yeah, I guess with lots of, what we're shown in science fiction and all the media and whatnot, there's a lot of
Hard, yeah.
fear-based stuff around that, of course. But there, you've had experiences too since Iggy's been born. Like that one time when you all went up to visit, was it Alex Gray's place? And then
So that was with Wolfie. So
yeah, and
this
your
was
older
before
son.
Iggy was born.
Oh yeah, tell this story. I love this story. This is before Iggy was born.
Oh yeah, this is before Iggy was born. I think I was pregnant, but like just barely.
Yeah.
And Wolfie walked in, and you know, Wolfie's the kind of person that feels energy. He's very flowy. So he was like, oh, like basking in it, like he's a Taurus, so he was basking in it like a Taurus would in something luxurious. And he was running around, he was feeling great. And then suddenly he stopped at a Merkaba, a crystal Merkaba sculpture. And I have a video of it actually somewhere. And he's just looking at it, and his eyes just like, you know, little happy eyes. He's like, it's so cute. He just couldn't help himself. He was like, ah, like exploding. He was like, mommy, the baby's so cute. And he was like, it's so cute. Look at him. He's so cute. And then he wouldn't stop. And I was like, it's a freaking Merkaba crystal sculpture. Like, what is cute, you know? Like who's in there? But it wasn't until like after Iggy was born, the way Wolfie reacts to Iggy, that's how he, even now he can't control himself. Why is he so cute? Like he just wants to like break him, you know, kill him, because he feels like the baby, like Iggy's so cute. So he'll hurt him, but it's because he's cute. He says, well, why is he so cute? So he always puts that face. And when he started doing that, I was like, wow, that's the same reaction, same face of that day he looked in the Merkaba and said, he's so cute, the
So what do you
baby.
think made your son looked at the Merkaba and think that the Merkaba was the baby? Like that's the interesting thing, that he actually felt that
He saw it, like he
the
saw a baby in there.
yeah, right. So he was like, the baby's so cute, but was looking at a Merkaba crystal.
Yeah, but he kept saying like, look, like, and he wasn't like 2 or anything, he was already 4.
So he could see
So
something within the crystal that felt that
mhm.
was the baby, was Iggy. And this is before you named the baby and everything.
Yeah, before anything,
Yeah.
yeah. So he and they have a connection. I feel like they, you know, even though they're very different energy. Like Wolfie, if I could describe his soul, is like ancient warrior, grumpy warrior, you know, like why am I in a baby body? That's his attitude, was always like, I should be standing and walking and flying. Like, what is this? You know, like just what the fuck is this? Like he never seemed like he was just a baby enjoying being a baby. And even now, he's not a kid enjoying being a kid. He's like, well, I want to have my own family so I can tell my kids, you know, what to do, and they can eat whatever they want all day. You know, he wants to be free, and he's always wanted to be free. Iggy, on the other hand, is a baby.
He's
You know,
enjoying being a
he
baby.
is enjoying being a baby, and I'm enjoying mothering this baby because it's actually a baby that wants to hug me versus Wolfie that I'll just be like, here, you know, like I'll give you a little pet, mommy. Now get out of here, you know. Let me do other things, you know. So and both my kids are very independent spirited, which is a blessing because Dimitri and I were very like awkward kids. So to have kids that have no social issues is
Hmm.
amazing. You know, like you're like,
Yeah.
like what does that feel like? I've always not felt socially, you know, comfortable. So I'm really happy that they are adjusting to being on planet Earth, you know, no matter where they came from.
Yeah, and do you feel that these exceptional experiences in astral and lucid dreams with your children before they were even born helped to pave the way for guiding them as unique little beings?
Definitely. I mean, Wolfie is the dreamer. So we I try to guide him in that because I can see what they are naturally drawn toward. Even though he's silly and poop jokes and butt jokes, he's the one that has the moments of enlightened thought. And so I try to catch those moments, and that's when I try to, talk to him about stuff. We've had shared dreams, things like that throughout his little, toddler years. Iggy is more of a medium baby, so
Mhm.
he'll see dead people. Taking him to the cemetery was a big mistake because I freaked out. But my little sister was like that, so I remembered what that was like. Her always seeing stuff. He hasn't seen anything lately,
But
but
yeah.
and I kind of hope it stays that way, but that's mean, right? I just don't know about ghost stuff. You know me and death. But Wolfie is obsessed with death. Obsessed. All day
Interesting. A
long.
lot of
What
questions.
happens? Do I become a transformer? Will I be able to do whatever I want? Why do what so you're in the ground and then what? And I'm just like, I don't want to talk about this, but I have to. So I'm like, remember tree and the death doula things, and just look at it like it's a fun exploration. But in the end, he doesn't stop. And I'm just like, okay, that's enough. Like you'll worry about death when you're 80. Like leave me alone. Because I mean, I talked to him for a long time, but I can only talk about it for so long. So I told because he has a little what do you call it, like OT therapy, because he was born he's a, what do you call it, hyposensorial, so he's like super active, low concentration levels in school. So he has they help them in school. They have like little OT therapists that helps them focus, and the kids that have like ADHD or whatever.
Yeah.
And they asked like, is he obsessed about a certain topic? I'm like, death. Please deal with it.
I think that's quite natural though for children to start questioning. It's around that time they start questioning about sex and death, the two taboos, and then
Oh
to
yeah, yeah.
to every parent's like discomfort.
So uncomfortable.
I want to ask a question in terms of guidance for anyone watching, especially women who are pregnant, and some dream guidance on navigating dream work while you're pregnant. Also, maybe even like setting intentions to connect to the baby through dreams while they're pregnant. Maybe you can offer some of your wisdom because you are a fantastic dream guide and you've lived the experiences. So, what do you think? Any good
Well,
tips?
oh yeah, there's a lot of tips, but I think the most important one is know that you're at that point two people, and try to see the extra things that you normally don't have. Like try to notice like nuances in your dreams, things that are different, because they will point at the other personality alchemy that's happening inside of you. So you're dreaming, basically you're dreaming together, and your intuition might get heightened. So I would suggest that if you want to get to know your baby soul, um to notice the little changes in dreams, because if you get too wrapped up in psychological fears, you're gonna, like, there's women that just dream of meeting their baby the whole time, but it's like fear dreams, like, because it's a very scary journey. You don't know, you hoping that the baby's going to keep growing and not lose it, and it's this whole like psychological mind bending thing. But if you could try to remember the mystery of it in the midst of that, so that you also have dreams where you can feel the baby. There's a wonderful book called Dream Birth. I'm trying to look up the author, but Dream Birth is about the whole ritual before having the baby. But you can read it at any point. It's Dream Birth, Transforming the Journey of Childbirth Through Imagery by Catherine Shaneberg. And that was really cool. I don't remember if I read it, I think for my second pregnancy, but it's very nice. There are visualizations for you and the baby. So you visualize getting into your womb, I think one of them is. And it's just such a nice book to have, because I haven't seen anything like that. It's a book for dream women.
Yeah, and connecting through to the baby through pregnancy and whatnot.
Through dreams and visualization, and even before, like she's trying to get you to before conceiving even, but you can read it at any point actually.
Thanks.
So I wish I had it when I was conceiving, but I didn't. I got it like afterwards. So
it's amazing. And do you think that, you know, as a conscious dreamer, you could set intentions before you fall asleep at night? Is that part of the process too, where you can connect? Tonight, I will connect to my child in a lucid dream.
Most definitely. I mean, you can't help but think of your child all the time when you're pregnant. So if you can actually just tune in like to your belly and your womb, and make an intention, set an intention while you're in that space of love. Try to choose always love over fear during that time. I always wanted to create a hypnosis for pregnant women because I didn't have that. I didn't even create one for myself, but I really wanted one. I wanted Dimitri to make me one because of all the fears. So if I had had something where I could just hear it, and it was especially about positive, relaxing energy for pregnant women, I would have totally
well,
been
now it's something that
on it.
now something that you can do, because you have like the best guided meditations on
Thank you.
YouTube. That you should definitely do that. I'm sure people listening who would love that guidance could totally tune into that. And your channel has amazing meditations on there, as well as what's the channel where you've got some other guided meditations on?
So besides my own, which is Jenniffer ClarOscura, which is my name, there's Lucid Power Mind, which is the channel that belongs to Frederick Stangland. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. It's like Strange Land without the R. And yeah, I create for his channel. He together we have, I think, started maybe a year or less than a year, something like that.
Yeah, there's some great guided meditations on there. I'm always recommending your guided meditation for lucid dreaming. And I was just telling you the other day, one of my students went lucid after listening to one of your meditations and working with one of the plant dream plants as well. So that's really cool.
Nice
so
combo.
Yeah, anyone listening?
I actually started to, I already have some scripts, and I started to record for my own channel also. It's the hypnagogic portal into lucid dreaming. So I want to send that to you as well.
Yes, put that up and we'll send it to people, and also do the hypnosis for pregnant.
Oh my God, women. Yeah. I feel like I owe it to them because I understand, like, having been pregnant, the fears, and I had everything wrong with the pregnancies, you know, the gestational diabetes, the all the side effects that, you know, are horrible. Everything. But you're just grateful anyway. Like, I wish women laid eggs, but we don't. we have to go through this, like, you know, body altering experience. So
oh my God, can you imagine if women laid eggs? Then maybe their partners would have to go sit on them every once in a while.
But you know what, like, I don't buy into like what everybody's gone through, because you know, you see in the movies, oh, the baby comes out and you hold the baby and you meet the baby. That wasn't my experience at all in either situation. You know, I had cesareans, they had to put me down. I met Wolfie like later that day, and even then it was awkward and weird, but I felt like I knew him because of my dreams and our connection, so I wasn't too affected by it. So I always say that was meeting him in my dreams was that like baby on the chest moment. because I didn't have the baby on the chest moment, and not all women do. So expectations are very strange during pregnancy. I learned with Iggy, no expectations.
Yeah.
After what happened with Wolfie, I was like, no expectations. It's gonna come home with me, and I'm gonna raise him anyway. So I'll get all the hugs then. I don't need to be like, at the moment of birth. So it's still emotional, but yeah, I wasn't even conscious the first time. So
Well, that's great that you were able to have that, baby on the chest moments, like you said, in
yeah,
the astral and lucid dreams beforehand.
and
And
makes
it's,
sense because that's me.
yeah, and it's these kind of like these connections through consciousness and these soul bonds that are really quite important, so
Yeah,
amazing that that came through even before they came into the world. Fantastic. Well, thanks,
yeah.
Jenniffer. It
Oh,
was
you're
amazing
welcome.
to catch up and great to chat about this little talked subject. It's one of those things. It's very understudied. There's everything out there about pregnancy, what to expect biologically, emotionally,
Oh yeah,
and there's obviously lots of information out there, but not many people talking about what dream life is like through the process too, and these liminal states of consciousness in astral and lucid dreams that are profound and transformative. And they helped you through your pregnancies. They help you bond with your babies before they even came into the world. In fact, you bonded with your babies before one of them was even conceived. So it's incredible what can get done in the realms of astral lucidity, dreams, these liminal places. So hopefully this has inspired any of y'all listening to explore your consciousness even through your pregnancy.
yeah. Because consciousness explorers have a very particular quality about them. That is not just earthly, but like we have another foot in the unexplained mysteries beyond, spirit and soul. So I feel like to go into the birth, into the whole process, knowing that about yourself and not expecting what you saw on movies, you know, that you're just going to be eating pickles and having nightmares. Um, you know,
Mixed with ice
that
cream.
yeah, you're like you're the consciousness explorer. It's going to be a little, your pickles with ice cream will be astral and lucid, it's going to be a little different, but it's going
Types
to
of
be
cravings.
yeah, and you do have these things in your head that you think it's going to be like. So pay attention to your, don't lose touch of your intuition due to all the emotions. um Everybody's giving you advice, so remember that you're a unique consciousness explorer, and you're going to have your own experience that will bond you with your little soul inside.
That's great, Jennifer. Thank you so much for chatting today. And anyone listening, check out Jennifer's channel, and you can just click the link next somewhere around
Somewhere.
here. Somewhere around here.
Look at my face.
Yeah. All right. See y'all later.
Bye. Thank you, Tree.